Hey girl, hey. Have you been journaling for a while? A couple of weeks, couple of days, and then now you find yourself like, whew, I just don't feel like it. How do I just keep going when I really don't feel like journaling? I really don't feel like, being in the presence of the Lord. I really don't feel like getting up early or staying up late. And today I want to talk to you about that. Well, before we get into today's topic, my name is Indiana Tuggle, and I am an author, a speaker, and kingdom writing coach. And I create books, journals, planners, etc. to help women to heal, grow in Christ, and achieve their dreams and their goals. So make sure that you check out my website at www.indiewrites.com, which is in the description in this video. Well, all right, let's get into today's topic. So you're asking yourself, how do you continue to journal when you really don't feel like journal? Like it's not really giving what it's supposed to give. You don't feel like it. You had a bad day. Everything and everybody has been coming at you, and you just want to crawl up in the bed and go to sleep. Well, ma'am, I'm here to tell you that you are going to have to journal anyway. In fact, you are going to have to do what I call force it till you like it. This is not a fake it till you make it. No, it's force it until you like it, because you are going through withdrawals, really, is what I like to call it. Until you get disciplined in journaling and until it becomes a daily habit, your mind and your body is going to fight you. Why? Because the enemy does not want you to get closer to God. So, force is an acronym, and I'm going to go through the 5 things that you're going to have to do in order to continue to journal even when you don't feel like it. So the first thing that you're going to have to do is find your why and decide if you will fight or flee. I know that was 3 F's, my bad. So you're going to have to ask yourself, what will happen if you do? What's going to happen if you continue? What's going to happen if you don't, if you give up in the process? And then your why behind all of that will determine if you will or you won't. Your why has to be bigger than your excuses, right? But it's time that you have to get off the roller coaster of your negative thoughts in your mind. You have to stop telling yourself you don't feel like it. You have to stop telling yourself that it's not doing you any good. You're going to have to stop telling yourself that you're doing it wrong, because there is no wrong way to do it, right? You're going to have to stop telling yourself that it doesn't matter, right? It matters to you and it matters to God. Right? The second thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to identify your obstacles. Listen, be honest and be truthful about what's truly standing in your way. What is it? Is it really an excuse, or is it something that you really truly need to prioritize for the day? Right? Identify that pattern that keeps pulling you. Right? When I first started journaling, I noticed that it would be consistent that every Monday I wouldn't feel like it. After a weekend, after resting, all day on Sunday, watching my favorite shows, getting caught up on my shows, when it's time to get up early for Monday morning, I just didn't feel like it. Right? So I had to learn how to break that pattern by, Indiana, you need to go to bed early. You need to have you a set routine to where you are waking up and going to bed at the same time, and which means that you're going to have to wind down, get rid of some of that screen time so that your mind is not continuing to go after you cut the TV off, after you put the phone down, your mind is still going. So I had to learn how to break those patterns, right? The third thing you're going to have to do is, like I just mentioned, you're going to have to establish a routine. You're going to have to do that. Like, we like to think that we are spontaneous and we can do things last minute, but that's a lie from the pit of hell, right? You like to tell yourself that you're great under pressure, when in reality, you cannot just sit down and allow yourself 15 minutes to do this and think that you're going to get this profound revelation from God in 15 minutes. It could happen. But until you get disciplined and you are keen to his voice and you are keen to his unctioning, then you are going to have to establish a routine and set a time on your calendar to journal, right? But sometimes this thing, you know how the Bible says some things come out by prayer and fasting? This thing is going to come out by strategy and implementation. You're going to have to put some strategy into this, and you're going to have to implement some things, and you're going to have to do it when you don't feel like it because you said you were going to do it, right? And I'm going to talk to you about different ways in which you can journal that will help you in this regard, because you won't have an excuse. You'll always have something to journal about, right? But random journaling, you don't always have something to journal about, and you can continue to put that off if you don't have anything that's drawing you in. And you have to remember that small changes will break the chains, right? When I first started journaling, it was only 30 minutes, right? I would just sit, and sometimes for that 30 minutes, I'd be sitting in silence for 15 minutes. Because the mind is just stubborn. It wants to do what it wants to do. But I had to sit there. I had to sit there for the 30 minutes, even when I didn't have anything to say, or I felt like I didn't have anything to say, until I learned how to hear God and hear him when he said study certain things, and study that thing until he told me to study something else, right? So you have to establish that routine, right? You got to put it on paper. You have to make yourself do it. You have to put it on your calendar. You have to set alarms for it. I still set alarms, and I've been journaling for over 10 years. It's still an alarm set on my phone for 6:30 a.m. to get up, and that is my prayer and quiet time with the Lord. 6:30 a.m. Now, over the years, I have tried to change it to like later in the afternoon when I've gotten off work, so I don't have to get up early, and God be like, nah. He meet me at 6:30. As a matter of fact, I be up before the alarm go off because I got to use the bathroom. So I don't really have an excuse not to get up and journal at that time. And now I work from home, so I ain't even got to put no clothes on, to be honest. So you have to make those small changes and believe that it's going to break chains in your life and produce a breakthrough, right? And then the fourth thing you have to do is you have to challenge your commitment. You have to be just as committed to the process as you are to the prize, right? Whatever end result that you have in your mind, you have to be just as committed to the process that journaling is producing in you, right? Be as committed to those intangible benefits that it's bringing to you, right? The fact that you're learning to hear God's voice, the fact that you are getting revelation in the word, the fact that you are beginning to implement those strategies, you're seeing the hand of God move in your life, the fact that your mind is more clear, the fact that your attitude is a little bit more pleasant, right? Because you're spending time with God. The fact that your relationships are getting better because you're spending more time with God and you're learning how to love people more. You have to hold on to those intangible things. Now, for me, when I first started, I thought I was going to get a husband, but that didn't happen. You have to hold on to those things that you can change. I cannot change when that perfect man is going to come into my life, but I can change how Indiana moves and grooves while she's waiting, right? How I'm handling the weight, how I am handling the other people that are in my life, right? How I'm handling the roles that God has called me to in this season, right? I can handle that. I can affect that, right? By how I show up. In this journaling, the benefit of journaling for me is it's affecting how I show up. It's affecting how I love people. It's affecting how I allow people to love me. Right? So you have to hold on to those benefits and be committed to that. So what is this thing that's this stronghold? What is it stopping you from? You're going to have to ask yourself that hard question, right? Because at the end of the day, the common denominator is you. You are the one that's in the center of everything, the center of your relationships, the center of your friendships, the center of your work relationships. You are the center. So if you change you can't change other people, but if you change you can affect how your view changes and how your behavior changes, right? And the fifth thing that you have to do is you have to manage your expectations. Listen, I would love to tell you that you would be healed in 30, 60, 90 days, or that you're going to be the best you ever in 6 months or this year, to be exact. But the bottom line is it's not going to happen overnight. So you have to stop expecting that, right? And like I said, the more that you are able to see the fruit that is developing in you inside out, the more you will be drawn to journaling, the more you're going to be drawn to the presence of God, right? And stories that you can look forward to and celebrate. Make sure that you always document that. Document those stories, document those memories, document how your response is different when you encounter different people, because you're spending time with yourself. You're getting to know yourself, right? You're learning how to handle your emotions, right? Because it's about you. Like I said before, you can't change other people. You can only change you. Okay, so I hope these tips were helpful for you. If you made it this far in this video, you are a rock star. So go ahead and click like and subscribe, and also leave me your comments and let me know how this resonated with you and what you are going to do differently going forward. Okay, smooches.